talk of financial inclusion that the Central Bank of Nigeria is driving, cashless initiative and so on, all these are aimed at letting the proceeds of investment in the financial system to get to the ultimate investors, whom over the years have been deprived of the proceeds of this investment due to malpractices, even at the banks. But the fact now is, we have collectively adopted the E-Dividend, which is to say that, okay, when you mandate your account in the bank, proceeds of your investment in terms of dividend will be paid directly into your account. Over the years, you know, the abuses we've had is somebody endorsing a dividend warrant into a wrong account, which is no longer possible. And again, we have appropriate mechanism to track everyone that has approved the mandate, so that even when people leave the employment of the banks where they are working, we can trace it back to them and bring them to book if there has been any form of culpability as far as wrongful mandating of account is concerned. A major decision that was equally taken at the CMC is the fact that we need to go beyond emphasizing dividend payment alone. People that sell their holdings, I bought shares and I want to sell it. That is the window of the direct cash settlement. To say that stockbrokers should not sell except with the instruction of the investor. And when they sell, rather than the proceeds of those sales of stocks going into the account of the stockbroker, we want the proceeds of the sales to go directly into the account of the investor who have instructed the stockbroker to sell. What does this imply? Stockbroker, take your own commission. NSC, take your own commission. SEC, take the commission for whatever role you have played in the sale of the stocks. But now the ultimate investor who should have the larger chunk of that sale should have it directly into his account. And so from now on, the two forms that is called direct cash settlement form and the E-Dividend mandate registration form are being merged into one form, which is to be called E-Capital Market Registration System form. We call it ECMRS, Electronic Capital Market Registration System form. And so when people go to the registrar, go to the bank to register for E-Dividend, they are ordinarily informed that you are mandating account for direct cash settlement too. And if you want to mandate two different accounts, one for E-Dividend, another one for direct cash settlement, it's on the same form that you indicate the account you want to use. And so the issue of filling two forms, going to registrars, going to banks at two different intervals does not arise. And again, we've over the years pushed so many actors apart. In the banks not recognizing stockbrokers, stockbrokers not playing an appropriate role in the capital market. The ECMRS brings the stockbrokers as principal point of mandating accounts for both dividend payment and direct cash settlement. Because when you now mandate or fill your form and submit it to a stockbroker or registrar or a bank, it is the same platform that is moving that form across from stockbroker to registrar to the bank. And it is with the view of Central Bank and Securities and Exchange Commission as both regulators of the capital market and the banking industry. Nigeria Interbank Settlement System is prepared, and we are committed to driving the BVN as the ultimate means of identity and KYC in the capital market. There is no going back on that. And don't forget, the ultimate goal of this government is for us to merge the four principal means of identity that is acceptable in the banking industry to the BVN. And here we are talking of the national identity number, the driver's license, the passport that you carry, and the INEC paper. Every one of them will be merged into one means of identity. And so the moment we perfect BVN as the means of KYC in the capital market. When all these other ones, NIBSS, means of identity, driver's license, INEC, and passport, becomes operational, that is when we merge the database of these other 4 means of identity to the BVN. That means we have ultimately cleared the issue of KYC in the capital market. In all honesty, we believe deepening the capital market relies on adequate and usable data, just like the DG has pointed out. We presented the demographic spread of investors in the capital market to the CMC, which shows that by residence, 38% of Nigerians who invested in the capital markets reside in Lagos. But now, by the time you now look at the state of origins of people, you now find out that it is different ball game entirely. 6% of the investors are resident in Port Harcourt, 8% in Abuja. But now, by state of, that is by state of residence, by the time you look at the state of origin, you find out that Anambra State comes prominently as a place where people will ultimately end up. In terms of age group too, age grade, we found out that about 65% of the investors fall within the age of 25 and 65. Meaning that if the substantial part of the investors are among the people that are currently in employment and people that are already going out of employment, we need to begin to do things that will catch the lower generation, the younger generation, immediately. With those statistics now, we have accepted that we need to balance the enlightenment of the younger ones with the engagement of the people that are currently active in the capital market. The same way, the demographic shows that 65% of investors in the capital market are male. And then the remaining 35% are female. That means even by gender, we need to focus more attention on women-related activities. WIMBIs, women in business, when they have seminars, when they have events, we need to at least go there, sensitize them on some of the opportunities that are available in the capital market. The statistics are available now, and we believe strongly that the capital market and the banking sector cannot but work together to drive the financial inclusion strategy of the federal government, which is aimed at achieving the sustainable development goal of the global economy, since the entire world has become a global village.